विधाता। जम्मू कश्मीर हिमाचल राजस्थान पंजाब दिल्ली यूपी उत्तराखंड बिहार गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ तमिल तेलंगाना कर्नाटक केरला वंगामा विंध्य हिमाचल तावी यमुना गंगा सरस्वती कृष्णा ब्रह्मपुत्रा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा। तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जयो गाथा। भारत स्वधर्म नागरिक भारत भाग्य विधाता जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत संविधान भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय भारत जय संविधान। वंदे मातरम सुजलम सुफलम मलया शीतलम सहस्या श्यामलम मातरम वंदे मातरम वंदे मातरम। सूरज सिंह एनटीपी इंडिया भारत अंतर्राष्ट्रीय अभियंता। भारत का अधिशासी भारत का राजपत्रित अभियंता चार्टर्ड इंजीनियर अधिकार पत्र राजपत्र और fellow IEI. Good morning. Suraj Singh as certified certificate shown to you. Located at Faridabad, NCR, Bharat, India. Often talk to you daily to possible extent regarding profession of engineering, national and international issues, safety, and many other general topics of public interest. I consider myself responsible because of my education and experience to share my views with public, all classes of public, particularly youth, about whom I am concerned, because youth means future of whatever country, and we are Bharat India, and we are based on we people having solemn resolved to constitute our nation Bharat India into a sovereign socialist secular democratic republic to ensure to its people justice, liberty and equality for creation of you can say dignity and integrity of this country. And whatever I'm talking is a part of that. Engineering profession and related information about interdisciplinary management and other spectrum do constitute building of nation, and we are one of that. National building is not alone political. Engineering is a founding element to build a nation in every country. No engineering means no nation. Engineering is a root. Engineering is real change. If something that can change, that is engineering, and its driver is engineer. Engineer, very wide term, but mostly, often could not be understood by general public. They think engineer only those who work in government. That's not true. They are government employed engineers and nothing else. Engineer is general term, is a professional term, is a term given by nature, because nature is itself an engineer. We have to draw pride in calling ourselves engineers because we can change ourselves, we can change nation, and we can change world. Yes, everything cannot be based on economy, but engineering is based on economy. Economy in every aspect of its activities, finance economy, use economy, stress economy, material economy, resource economy, and then really macroeconomy. If we want to get output from engineering, we have to provide input to engineering. If we are able to incorporate input to engineering, we can of course get output in positive terms, or else we deteriorate whatever we have been gifted by nature. And we have done that successfully in both ways. We have done positively as well as we have done negatively. Engineer has to think more than what others do think. Engineer has to keep at center point of society and transfer and disseminate its experience based input knowledge to people. If engineer can do that, I think engineer can be successful. Otherwise, you are engineer only in your domain, not your social engineer. Professional engineering defines what is engineering. It's not simply limited to your domain. It's not simply limited to what you have learned. It forces you, it demands you to understand other aspects of engineering that are safety, quality, society, health, public relations, and human being. All these are related to engineering profession. So one is engineering education and the other one is engineering profession. Engineering education is exclusively theoretical, tutorial, and academic. But engineering education is all in all. Education, tutorial, academics, experience, learning, and continuous professional development. So professional engineering is different one. It's very advanced. Yes, that's why it's called professional engineering. It makes you learn practically in addition to university knowledge or program knowledge. It forces you to get and grasp more and more ideological and practical knowledge from field of your working. And if you cannot get that, you just sleep at home, then you cannot call yourself engineer. So engineer education is at global level. It continues forever. Just like development continues forever. This fundamental consideration, this fundamental view, every engineer must realize what it is expected of society, what society expects of an engineer, not in terms of money, but in terms of development, movement. Don't forget that forests are converted to cities, forests are converted to living areas, industrial areas. It is forests are converted to whole economy for best use of earthly materials, earthly resources that are hidden within earth. We are living on two resources. One resource is earthen resources which are hidden in lithosphere, and other resource is surface resources that are agriculture, plants, and air. These two resources are these, and we are living because of two. Generally, organic materials come from air and plantation, agriculture, which we are used to, which allow us to live. We get our food from that, our environment from that, our health from that. And other resources are generally mineralogy or mineralogical or inorganic, that comes from hidden wealth of earth. that helps us improve in other direction. These are related to science and engineering. When we explore, we get something. My purpose was for construction engineering, design engineering, and practical work engineering. Work giving shape, giving transformed shape from ideal status of designs to goods, or you can say goods delivery into field for end user. Construction itself says you have to structure, you have to provide a structure unit, every element, every member of that structure or whatever you work in engineering with support from all disciplines. Therefore, once you are in field of construction and designs, you are in field of creating assets for nation and world. All these are assets. This may be buildings, this may be infrastructure, pipelines, railway line, dams, water resources, whatever you work with, infrastructural plants, industrial units, factory units, whatever you work with, everything talks of, announces of that it is development and it is engineering product. When we talk of engineering product, actually 90% products come from engineering. 90% products. Forget agriculture, but agriculture is also related to engineering these days. Agricultural engineering, it is called scientific engineering, and there are many fields of other engineering that help us, society of world and our country as well. Particular dealing with construction, which is long durable product. This is only discipline which equips you to produce certain, which works with us for decades to come. Electronic products just are used for a few years and thrown away, discarded. Other products also discarded. Food is consumed and other spare parts used only for a few years. For example, car, maximum 5 to 10 years. Machines, maximum 5 to 10 years. Apparatuses, all that which complete their life cycle soon. But major products which consumes your cost, whole life earnings, these are construction projects, these are engineering projects, these are buildings, roads and other airports, for example, railway line and many more, which run for decades for your service to serve you and further after being retrofitted. So we are not dealing for temporary projects, we are not dealing for temporary items, we deal with items that move with your life, that serve you for you lifelong. There have been buildings for centuries existing, we all know, and we are doing nothing actually. We are producing a structure which work for 50 to 100 years maximum, not more than that. It is deteriorated due to whatever reason of environment or otherwise. We have to be very careful in this approach, and we should get pride also. We should drop pride in that we are doing something which would run for decades to come, for centuries to come. That is where stand. There we stand. Means we are doing some job, we are doing something that others are missing. Your business may be good, you may be having good company, but one day you close and go away. You are politician, you are in power for 5 years and go away. You are school teacher, you repeat everything same year. That's what I am saying. There is a change, and that change comes from engineering, and we call engineering for a change. Engineering itself is a change. Engineer means use of mind, powerful mind, not ordinary use of mind. Use of mind that creates, use of mind that defines, use of mind that innovates, use of mind that makes research, that does research, use of mind that teaches you, that thinks further, use of mind that goes to concentration, use of mind that forces you to write some new, use of mind that thinks you scientifically and engineering wise and calculate and calculate and calculate and reach super calculation. Use of mind is concentration, that is computerized world. Computers are result of engineering and science. Same way, all appliances, all units, all articles, all goods that are part of engineering are serving society. What we are doing? Very brilliant, and question is what we do, civil engineers and support of other engineers. We do a lot for society, though it does not go under their role of counting. We do a lot, but we are not socially recognized, but it doesn't mean anything. We have to recognize ourselves, and that is very significant point. If you respect yourself, others will certainly respect you. Don't forget, you may not be recognized, but you cannot be thrown away. You cannot be thrown away. They have to depend upon you. They may not give honor to you, they may not extend regards to you, yet you are there. Yet you are there. Doctor is regarded because patient feels pain. Advocate is regarded because this client suffers. Judge is regarded because people know that person shall give judgment. Chartered accountant is regarded because these people are all indoor personnel. All are indoor personnel. Chartered accountant, advocate, judges, IAS officers and politicians and shopkeepers, all industrialists, factory owners, all these are indoor persons, indoor personnel who do not know what is impact of sun, what is impact of cold. These people do not know because they use and sit in conditioned rooms. They do not know plight of weather, by weather on human being. They do not know how workers do in field, in open air. They do not understand this. So, who does it? We do it. We are born, if I am civil engineer or you are civil engineer, we are born to lead life of struggle, life of impacts, life of familyless, you can still lead. You cannot enjoy your family if you are civil engineer, real civil engineer. You have to sacrifice your personal comforts many times in life. You have to stay in certain places in your life where you won't find even animals. Because animals are found only where people are living. Otherwise, you will not find animals in general except in deep forests where no humans are living, but wild animals are available there. So we have to find our places nowhere except in air, in hanging, where people cannot reach you. Only profession of civil engineering where you are not exposed to society. People do not know how you work. Yes, in cities, some project exists, people see yes, something is ongoing. They know that is ongoing, and for them, that is only engineering. For an ordinary person, a small house is being constructed, a building is being constructed, the road is being constructed, which are all in cities, they know that is only engineering, otherwise they do not know anything about that. They are not aware of what's behind it, they are not aware of what happens in 5 years program of engineering, they do not understand what subjects are there for them to study. So for them, shuttering, formwork, concreting and labor and all this is engineering, nothing else. It's not their fault, I cannot say it's their fault. It's fault of ill information, and not only in this country, in every country it's like that. I have talked to many people, and many talk to me, many Arab world, other world, they say people do not know us. Yes, they are right, people do not know us. But it doesn't make a difference if people do not know us. Even if they know what shall happen. What shall happen? If a patient knows there's a doctor, the patient has to go to doctor, what difference does it make? Except this patient knows there's a doctor. Same thing, a client knows, yes, that the litigant knows there's an advocate. Then I know, yes, after that what? After that, there's no regard for advocate. There's no regard for judge. There's no regard for politician. There's no regard of shopkeeper. There's no regard of tradespeople. There's no regard of industries. Because people know they are just making money. That's it. What else? So I don't find this very potent discussion whether or not society recognizes us. I don't find in this very high weight. So forget that. But you are an engineer, remember that. It's not because of your education, but because of your mindset. There are many engineers who are just engineers for sake of engineering and nothing else. They just care that they have to make money and lead life by whatever way. They are not dedicated and devoted engineers. They are just for sake of service or job and live. But there are other people also who have burning mind, burning heart, they are ignited people like volcano. They have magma and lava in their minds. They are strugglers. They want job done per specifications and demands. And those people are actually foundation of this society, because they have hunger for knowledge and application of knowledge, which is very important. Engineer is identified and recognized by results, not by certificates. Certificate is a tool to allow only entry to gate of field, door of field. After that, certificate is only a paper to remain on CV and nothing else. If you are having many certificates but you are unable to lead, your certificates won't be valued and you won't be given any attention, except your formality on that key personal organization. And if you are very strong, you know your job, you know how to use common sense, how to use potential energy and kinetic energy to lead works, to understand works, to do works with all powers of your mind and requirements of documents and what is required, and if you deliver that to best advantage of society, they shall remember you. They won't say what was your qualification, but say they know this person is very, very good engineer. And I know this, particularly in Middle East, in Arab world, they consider it very strongly. Oh, he has done too much, he always see you on working and this. Oh, wallah, majboot yani, very strong. For them, engineer should deliver. Actual meaning of engineer is deliver. Can you deliver? Whatever delivery you make of your own mind and work, use your mind, use resources. Use resources, your mind, your knowledge, your theory, your all knowledge, your science, to convert it and delivered product for successful use of certain function. That person is engineer. That person is engineer. Nobody shall see how many drawings you produced. Nobody shall see how many pages did you write for specifications. Nobody shall see how did you work to produce something, but they will see product. Oh, this is product, very good, very excellent. Yes, there are some defects, but it's excellent. It has been serving for long. It shall serve for long. That level of comments are required. If you can do that, if you can achieve that wonder, you are designated engineer by people. not by university. I have seen certain people in my life who are very excellent in work, despite they don't have any degree. But they understand. By practice they have become, yes, they are short in intelligence of theory. Doesn't make a difference to an extent. They work as supports to senior support to engineers. I'm not saying don't have qualification. Qualification, academics is as equal to as practical knowledge. But practical knowledge post academic education is very important, because you are certifying and verifying both that whatever you learned in engineering is done and seen and experienced. Though it's not exactly what you learned, but result is that. Result is that. That result is useful to society. You derive pleasure, see my efforts brought to this site, this building, or this whatever bridge you did, and people are using this. You feel a degree of pleasure, though nobody is coming to you to thank you. No problem. Are you working for thank you? Are you working for that? For example, if somebody doesn't come to me and say to me, good morning, should I mind that? No. But if that person is good for work, I can say good morning to that person. What's wrong with that? I would say that person good morning, no problem, because I respect that person because of work, not because of personal relations. If somebody doesn't call me good morning, good evening, I don't mind, because I am not paying for good morning, good evening. I am paying for capability. I am for the involvement of that person onto my work. Well, this is etiquette only if you call something like that, but ultimately your face is not valued, your action is valued, your contribution is valued, your efforts are valued, your dedication is valued, your commitment is valued, your trust is valued, your honesty is valued, your idealism is valued, and your practical angle is valued. All these are there. I am not delivering any preacherly speech. I am just interacting with you. What are facts? And you should not think that we are not valued or valued. Even if those are valued, they don't have anything. They don't have anything all over the world. It's time that people are just befooling each other all over the world. You go to whatever country, you'll find same thing, and befooling means nothing. It's only a hawk's arrangement. It's just fictitious world. Sometimes you see you meet people. But you are not fictitious, remember. You are not fictitious. You are factual, you are practical, you are claimable. You are claiming something. Therefore, my deliberation is just to keep you happy, that do not underestimate yourself. Just dedicate to work. Yes, question is money. Everybody is interested in money. You cannot get that money, that power of money which you expect. Engineering shall not give you that one. Keep that out of your mind. Otherwise, don't come to engineering. Engineering is not money-making profession. Real engineering, I'm not talking of those people who are the software. Those are not actually, they are not engineers. They are doing something else. But those people who produce items, deliveries which are used for centuries, I am talking for those. Who struggle in life, I am talking for those. You are struggling in a way, you are not sitting indoors and working all time. You are always physically oriented, mentally oriented. Your job is completely different. You are neither an officer nor a worker, you are a leader. You are a real leader. Lead, exposed leader. You are using your mind, your health, your body, your philosophy, and your anger, your anguish, and very little diplomacy in your job you are leading with, you are moving with. While all other professions, all other jobs talk of diplomacy, they don't have much anger in them, but your field of construction engineering does have all properties incorporated at one location, and that results in delivery of excellent projects. I would say that you think that way, do not think otherwise, and try to think and do and create PDCA, DCSSA, plan, do, check and review. Let's say plan, do, check and act. Just like philosophy in our management system, you take ISO 9001 or you take Sigma. Though Sigma is not very much relevant to our field, but it cannot be disregarded as well. You cannot disregard also. You can try to implement both if you can, but don't think that only these systems will allow you to work. These systems are supporting arrangements. Your system is yourself. Even if there is no Sigma 6 or there is no ISO 9001, you think you will stop? No, never. When there was no IS 9000 and there was no Sigma, buildings were constructed, roads were constructed, everything was done with very good quality. So these are only later on aided. These were later on aided for professional support, not to lead profession. So my purpose is only just to improve your performance by use of these systems and by use of your primary element of your construction element, your construction sphere, that is safety and quality with construction procedures. Every time I talk something about this, because you have to realize this. When you are sitting in a design's office, it doesn't mean that you are away from safety and quality. Design itself requires safety consideration and quality consideration. It doesn't mean that you cannot think of that. You have to think of that. You have to think how structure can be more safer by your design procedures, by your design element, design work, and how can quality be improved. You have to think that way. You are doing in designs, but you have to stand in place of construction man and think that way. What should be amended on your thoughts of designs, not simply putting design lines and arrangements of the steel or something and throwing it away to site. That is not required. You have to think what I am saying. You expect yourself, you guess yourself what I am saying. You have to think in the interest of that person who is on site. That lowest profile person is still fixer and former carpenter and all others. You have to think in that person's place how I would do in a best way, in more comfort way. Then you think on finalizing design. If you can do that, you are helping your project, you are helping design, you are helping construction, you are helping supervision, and ultimately it is you who is making that one from distance. You are remote maker. That person on site is real maker, but that person is getting support from you from virtual remote office, and that is you are controller there. You philosophize this in this way. If you want to help your work go better, go smooth. Otherwise, your drawing is just a drawing, not a project. I want to see that you consider your drawing as project. Every steel you fix, every line you draw, every structure you do, it should be in interest of project. You will say, I am just saving or not saving, that's another issue. First is construction issue. How best it can be constructed is more important than your stresses, strain, deflection and all that. how best you help consumer, how best you help constructor, how best how best metals can be used, how best work can be done. That should be your viewpoint. And if you can do that, that's fine. For that, you need support from safety considerations, safety subject, from quality subject. About safety, environment, health, etc., I have already recorded many videos, around 34 chapters, and these are already there, and many of such URLs I have posted on text of this video. Also, quality, which is very wide subject these days. Quality, which was just considered procedural quality one time, is now is total quality. Total quality management system, which is called IS 9001, or you may take it Sigma or some other. It doesn't make any difference as far as improvement to work is concerned. I have been busy talking to IS 9001-2015 because it has been now in force. ISO 9001 2015, 2008 has gone, and which is really not, you can say, very easy to work with, though it has been modified, paperwork has been reduced, trust has been transferred to those who work, power has been transferred to them, excessive power. But you remember, excessive power or powerful person always are more confident, which state takes them to deterioration and accident. Power cannot be digested by everybody. If you want to digest power, you have to work, you have to devote time to work, you have to dedicate, you have to sacrifice your comfort, and you have to think for work. That power that has been transferred to management by ISO 9001-2015, in speech it looks fine. You may be happy that there is less paperwork, less mandate to control. But remember, when you have to do your own mandate, you have to decide on your own, it is always more difficult, because every professional cannot decide. Power of decision lies with very rarest people, very few people. Followers are 90% in this world, only few percentages are leaders. Leaders means professional leaders who can think from many dimensions, but those are followers who do not think at all, just follow up what is instructed without any detailed check. Here is what we are. We have to classify ourselves. Where do we stand? Do we really need to lead, or we just keep silence and accept everything? That is where we have to think about. Progress review, I was talking for projects on projects. I have gone through project management, which I just review it for a few moments, so that we just come to track what we are talking about before jumping on to what I am going to talk. This project management I had gone through before, and you remember what I talked about. I was talking about monitoring projects. Monitoring means planning part and valuation part. I had talked about charters, I talked about charter, I had talked about engineer role, I had talked about contractor's role, I had talked about risks, and I had talked about human resources and many other issues. Monitoring, I was talking about communication, I was talking about, and I talked at length, and I do not need reminder that. So I had talked about charter of projects, and then planning I talked, and then I should say project stages I talked, and design and all that I have talked. Now bid I have talked means technical bid and commercial bid, and then you can say what should be done, how should be done, how should contractor do, and how should they do, what is planning, what is all about. And monitoring I was talking about. Monitoring and updates, continuous process during project life cycle. Let me overlap this one and go further if required. I'll change that track immediately if I think it's not coming to left. Now I'm talking a little about monitoring and updates. It says that work supervision and monitoring are carried out by all parties concerned. These processes are done as part of quality assurance or quality requirement and controls, schedule controls, progress or status controls, cost controls, applications and various updates, understanding various non-compliances and conformances, and understanding risk factor and their implication, mitigation of risk factors. This stage is dominant for pinpointing flaws occurring to project performance as obstacles. Obstacles are required to be eliminated or adjusted for measuring planned value of performance or ascertaining measurement as desired. Now, let us say deliverables. I have done this, but let us say again, all deliverables or work done are inspected by contractors, project discipline, site engineer, and project or discipline quality engineer in all respects to meet requirements. These deliverables would constitute almost all documents as well as that scope required. These documents require inspections, examination by competent key personnel for submission, authorization. All approved works have to be documented in various approved formats. All are part of deliverables in line with agreed test check. Percentages are inspected by consultants and engineer over contractors, quality engineer. These deliverables would constitute almost all documents as well that scope required. These documents require inspections, examinations by competent engineers, key personnel for approval, authorization for permanent reference, documentation. All approved works have to be approved and documented in various approved formats and transmitted to executor or contractor for permanent record. All variances are noted, documented, and their adjustments are applied to corrective works are documented for records. Schedules are regularly revised as updates. Time baselines are either maintained or revised accordingly. Cost baseline also is maintained or revised as cost would require. Approvals. All site approvals are based on such inspections by various specialists as well as discipline engineers for consultants over inspections done by contractors, engineers. These approvals could be for civil works or for allied services. All tests require approvals. All factory as well as site tests require approvals. Services installations require testing at various fixes, often first fix, second fix, and final fixing, followed by testing at commissioning and before that pre-commissioning. Work progress is measured by planning engineers to compare with time schedule. Formula to measure progress has to be agreed between engineer and contractor during post-contracting planning stage. Progress can be activity based or cost based. Actual progress status can be defined exclusively by cost reflection of earned project. Activity based projection shall reflect directive status, but activity based status of progress is helpful to physically control progress to keep in line to time schedule. Work changes. All changes are issued by engineer or consultant in conjunction with client and based on contractor's opinion. Work changes are expected to be within limits of acceptance. Changes may be required to meet product requirement or the suit function project would provide. Basic product cannot be changed. Basic product cannot be changed. Certain requirements may be allowed during a scope formation charter. All requirements should have been listed in all respects. Only oversights or some functional changes may be added as changes. Keeping continuation of incorporation of changes may not allow project to finish that in interest of neither party. Changes can affect cost or deletion or addition. Changes can also affect prospective prospects of procurable materials as well as those already procured. Already procured can be rendered out of use. Scope change can generate risks for change on time schedules as well. Changes cannot be made on long lead items or if necessary to be made could be made in early stages of project life cycle. Cost, time and quality can be severely affected by certain changes that need attention by engineer or client. Better to avoid changes to finish and product completion time. Changes are not welcome by contractor as well as by engineer or by client. Investment made on project needs return by opening to use after commissioning only. Time to close out project is one of extremely significant factor. So that will say this was basics we are talking of. Then there are so many procedures in this, further procedures. I will talk about that because those are relevant to quality methods and procedures. So I'll move to now talk of my yesterday's continuation, and that is regarding ISO 9001-2015, because if you understand that first we can talk better. So now I'll move to that one, and that is, let us see what actually IS 9001 Annex SL is, which we are talking about. Let us say overview and background. I just take that one first because it's more important just to understand basics of that. You know, it says this is a document that I'm reading is overview and background, and this document is from BSI, and this is over years, he says over years ISO has published many management system standards to many system standards to topics ranging from quality and environment to information security and business continuity management. Despite sharing common element, ISO management system standards all have different structures. This in turn results in some confusion and difficulties at implementation stage. In order to understand importance of structure in management system standards, we shall take a step back and look at ISO definition of management system and some of benefits of implementing an effective management system. ISO defines a system standard, provides a model to follow when setting up and operating arrangement system. Some of top level benefits of a successful management standards are enhanced use of resources. That says enhanced use of resources means much better use of resources. It says improved risk management means risks are reduced or risks are there, these are taken care of. And you say increase customer satisfaction by meeting product service expectations. Why in new high level structure? That's a question, is why actually we are amending this and why we are introducing high level structure. Answer is, most organizations have more than one management system, standards to implement and certify. Doing this individually takes up a lot of extra time and resources, so there is a clear need to find a way of integrating and combining standards in best best possible way. Management system standards to date each presents different structures, requirements and terminology, so integration remains challenging. In order to address this problem, ISO developed NXSL framework for a generic management system and blueprint for all new and revised arrangements system standards going forward to address industry specific needs. Additional requirements to individual sections shall be added to this generic framework. How will this affect organization? This high level structure shall be rolled out across all new and revised management system standards to ensure consistency and compatibility with NXSL in place. Management system implementers can look forward to less conflicts, duplication, confusion and misunderstandings that took place as a result of different management systems, standards, structures. Management system auditors shall now use a core set of generic requirements across disciplines and industry sectors. Now, actually, we come to real talk of more about Annex SL. What does it say? Annex SL, because I was talking of Annex, I just wanted to brief you a little about facts about basics of what Annex SL is introduced for. That's this difficult for me. All management system standards of future shall have same high level structure, identical core text as well as common terms and definitions. Whilst high level structure cannot be changed, subclauses and discipline specific text can be added. Annex SL applies to all management system standards such as full ISO standards, publicly available specifications, that is PAS, and technical specification, that is TS, revised ISO 9001 and ISO 14001 as well as new ISO 45001 will all be based on Annex SL's high level structure. Now there are many clauses in this. There are 10 clauses, clause 1, clause 2, clause 3 and up to 10. And what does this entitle with? Clause 1 means scope. Its title is scope. Clause 2 is normative references. Clause 3 is terms and definitions. Class 4 is context of organization. Class 5 is leadership. Class 6 is planning. Class 7 is support. Class 8 is operation. Class 9 is performance evaluation. Class 10 is improvement. Again I repeat. Class 1 means scope. So you have to think in mind scope. Class 2, normative reference. Normal references, you may say, normative references. Class 3, terms and definitions. Class 4 is context of organization. Class 5 is leadership. Class 6 is planning. And class 7 support. Class 8 operation. Class 9 performance evaluation. Class 10 improvement. Now we'll talk a little. What is class 1 scope? Scope sets out intended outcome of management system. What does the scope say? Outcome of management system. It sets out that outcomes are industry specific and should be aligned with context of organization. That is class 4, context of organization. This means 1 and 4 are linked. Okay. Class 2 is normative reference. Provides such details of reference standards or publications relevant to particular standard. So normative references means details of reference standard or publications relevant to particular standard. Then class 3, terms and definitions. Details, terms and definitions applicable to a specific standard in addition to any formal related terms and definition standards. Then class 4, that is context of organization, which is long and descriptive. Class 4 consists of our subclasses, and these are these are: for 1, understanding organization and its context. For 2, understanding needs and expectations of interested parties. For 3 is determining scope of management system. And for 4 is management system. As flagstone of management system, class 4 says flagstone of management system. Class 4 determines why organization is here. Why it's here. As part of answer to this question, why organization is here, organization needs identify internal and external issues that can impact on its intended outcomes, as well as all interested parties and their requirements. It also needs document its scope and set boundaries of management system, all in line with business objectives. Come on to class 5, that is leadership. Leadership, this is professional leadership, this is not political leadership, remember. Class 5 comprises 3 subclasses. How many were in 4? In 4 were 4 subclasses, and in 5 there are 3 subclasses. Leadership and commitment, that is leadership and commitment, policy and organizational roles, responsibilities and authorities. New high level structure, that is NXSO. New high level structure places particular emphasis on leadership, not just management as set out in previous standards. This means top management now has greater accountability and involvement in organization's management system. They need to integrate requirements of management system into organization's core business process. Ensure management system achieves its intended outcomes and allocate necessary resources. Top management is also responsible for communicating importance of management system and heighten employee awareness and involvement. Let me repeat this is very important one. New high level structure places particular emphasis on leadership, not just management as set out in previous standards 2008. This means top management now has greater accountability and involvement in organization's management system. They need to integrate requirements of management system into organization's core business process. Ensure management system achieves its intended outcomes and allocate necessary resources. Top management is also responsible on communicating importance of management system and heighten employee awareness and involvement. Then we go to clause 6, and that is planning. Clause 6 includes two subclauses. So in 4 were 4 and there were 3 in 5. Clause 6, which has 6, includes two subclauses. And how many clauses? 3 and 2 and all. There's no clauses in that. So these are descriptive one actually, 4, 5, 6, etc. And 7 also have many, and then 8 and 9. 8 has 1 and 9 has also many, and 10 2 has many too. Okay. Let's talk of clause 6, planning. Clause 6 includes two subclauses: actions to address risks and opportunities. Planning means risk resolver, right? Actions to address risks and opportunities. Management system objectives and planning to achieve them. Management system system objectives and planning to achieve them. This clause 6 brings risk-based thinking to front. Once organization has highlighted risks and opportunities in clause 4, that was text of organization, it needs stipulate how these shall be addressed through planning. Planning phase looks at what, who, how and when. What, who, how and when this risk must be addressed. This proactive approach replaces preventive actions. This proactive approach replaces preventative actions and reduces need of corrective actions later on. Particular focus is also placed on objectives of management system. These should be measurable, monitored, communicated, aligned to policy of management system and updated when needed. Last part I repeat. This should be, let's say what it says is, it says this proactive approach replaces preventative actions and reduces need for corrective actions later on. Particular focus is also placed on objectives of management system. This should be measurable, monitored, communicable or communicated, aligned to policy of management system and updated when needed. Now after 6, that's planning, we go to clause 7, that is support. Support clause 7, it consists of 5 subclauses, and that is 7.1 resources, 7.2 competence, 7.3 is awareness, 7.4 is communication, 7.5 is documented information. I repeat, 7.1 resources, 7.2 competence, 7.3 awareness, 7.4 communication, 7.5 documented information. After addressing context of organization, after addressing context, commitment and planning, organization shall have to look at support which is needed to meet their goals and objectives. This includes resources, targeted internal and external communications, as well as documented information that replaces previously 2008 used terms such as documentation and records. Now this was support. 5 supports were required. 5 supports means resources, competence, awareness, communication, documents and documented information. And then we come to clause 8, that is operation. Clause 8 has one subclause, that is operational planning and control. Operational planning and control. Bulk of management system requirements lies within this single clause. Clause 8 addresses both in-house and outsource processes, while overall process management includes adequate criteria to control these processes, as well as ways to manage planned and unintended change. Then we go to clause 9, that is performance evaluation. Performance evaluation. Clause 9 is formed of 3 subclauses. 9.1 monitoring, measurement, analysis and evaluation. This is clause 1, 9.1. Clause 9, subclause 9.1. that is monitoring, measurement, analysis and evaluation. Then 9.2 internal audit and 9.3 is management review. So we go by here. Organizations need determine what, how and when things are to be monitored, measured, analyzed and evaluated. An internal audit is also part of this process to ensure management system conforms to requirements of organization as well as standard and is successfully implemented and maintained. Final step, management review looks at whether management system is suitable, adequate and effective. Now clause 10, that's improvement. With two subclauses in place, clause 10 looks at how non-conformities and corrective actions should be merged. 10.1 subclause, non-conformity and corrective actions. 10.2 continual improvement. In an even changing business, in an ever-changing business world, not everything always goes according to plan. Clause 10 looks at ways to address non-conformities and corrective action as well as strategic for improvement on a continual basis. Now we are talking of 5 key steps for a successful transition. Don't delay. Start working on your transition today. This is information to companies. Well, this is just the step they are telling for successful transmission from ISO 9001 2008 to 2015. This is just guide of transfer companies. The titles I'm going to tell you that: talk to your BSI client, attend BSI training course, communicate with your organization like that, set up internal project team and get gap analysis transfer. So this is all their requirement. I'm not going to talk of that much. This is their advertisement, like you can say, but major technical portion I have talked to you about, and I will repeat 10 points. I'll just repeat those titles of 10 points. Clause 1 is a scope. Clause 1 is scope. Clause 2 is narrative, normative references. Clause 3 is terms and definitions. Clause 4 is context of organization. Clause 5 is leadership. Clause 6 is planning. Clause 7 is support. Clause 8 is operation. Clause 9 is performance evaluation. Clause 10 is improvement. So we repeat: scope is 1. Clause 1 is scope. Clause 1 is scope. Clause 2 is normative references. Clause 3 is terms and definitions. Clause 4 is context of organization. Clause 5 is leadership. Clause 6 is planning. Clause 7 is support. Clause 8 is operation. Clause 9 is performance evaluation. Clause 10 is improvement. So scope, normative, reference, terms and definitions, context of organization, leadership, planning, support, operation, performance evaluation and improvement. Okay. Class 1 scope, class 2 normative references, class 3 terms of definitions, class 4 context of organization, class 5 leadership, class 6 planning, class 7 support, class 8 operation, class 9 performance evaluation, class 10 improvement. This is what basis was, and this basis must be understood very well for better grasp of this one. Now, I was talking of contracting journal RC buildings construction template, because this is ISO 9001-2015 based my proposal, my submission in relation to contracting journal RCC buildings construction. And regarding common one, I have already discussed and extended yesterday. That was about you may say, let me repeat what is Annex SL IS 9000 Annex L, which I repeat just what I talked to you yesterday on 28th day February 2020. I discussed with you. That was I think not yesterday, before yesterday, yes. Annex 9000, ISO 9001 2015 Annex SL, that is replacement of ISO guide. And this I had explained what is quality system, and then I had explained structure is structure indicated below. What I explained, I just repeat what actually a quality system I talked of, just for your refreshing memory. An organization adopts a management system to take care of comfortably achieving its set objectives. It's very clear, means organization has to adopt a management system that cares about achieving its objectives. Management system comprises various sets of procedures for charting out and implementing various operations or activities so as to successfully reach its intended objectives, which leads to enhanced use of resources, improvement on risk management, and increased customer satisfaction by meeting product or service expectations. Organizations do work on various management systems, say quality management, environment management, safety management, etc. etc. These various systems, in line to ISO 9001-2008, used to work on varying management structures, causing inconvenience to interface with each other. Annex SL, being a high-level management system, has produced a common platform so as all systems that under the organization adopts can be drawn based on Annex SL designs or format. Such arrangement provides many commonalities in designing system implementation, monitoring, evaluation, and improvement, by trying to eliminate conflicts that existed within ISO 9001-2008 system. All management systems shall have single high-level identical core text with common terms and definitions. High-level structure cannot be changed, but discipline-specific subclauses can both be added or changed. Annex SL applies to all management system standards publicly available, specifications and technical specifications. Revised ISO 9001, 14001, 14001 shall all be based on Annex SL high-level structure. And this format I had explained to you about clause number, format title, descriptions of intended actions related to PDCA, that is plan, do, check and act. In this I had explained what is clause 1, that was scope, then clause 2 normative references, clause 3 terms and definitions, clause 4 context of organization, clause 5 leadership, and clause 6 planning, clause 7 support, clause 8 operation, clause 9 performance and evaluation, and clause 10 improvement. And in this I had conferred with you what is class 1, that 2, etc. and definitions. I had means all these were explained to you. For example, this scope I had explained. Class 1 includes intended outcome of management system which are industry specific and should be aligned with class 4 context of organization. Then class 2 normative references which include details of reference standards or publication relevant to particular standard. And class 3 terms and conditions includes detailed terms and conditions definitions applicable to particular specific standard in addition to for format related terms and conditions. Class 4, which is context of organizations, includes only this means understanding organization and its content, understanding needs and expectation of parties, determining scope of management system, and consideration points of why organization is there, identify internal and external issues, shall impacting everyone, interested parties in by requirements, define scope and set boundaries of management system, and raise employees awareness of involvement. And leadership has includes leadership and commitment policy, organization role, responsibility, authorities, and point of considerations for many. So I would say all this I explained to you in general about what is ISO 9001 is, and I'll close this document and bring other one. Sorry. So this annexure I close. Now I'll continue to talk on this one, that is 9001 to the quality system. I discussed with you in last video quality system on this document, that is ISO 9000 NXSL Contracting General RCC Buildings Construction. And what is quality system contracting journal, that I discuss in brief, I explain again. An organization adopts a management system to take care of comfortable achieving its set objectives, which being in this case contracting general RCC buildings construction. And management system comprises various sets of procedures for charting out and implementing various operations or activities so as to successfully reach its intended objectives, which lead to enhanced use of resources, improvement on risk management, and increased customer satisfaction by meeting product of services or services expectations. In this case, product is contracting and general RCC buildings construction. Organizations do work on various management systems, say quality management, environment management, safety management, etc. All three systems apply in this case directly as well as indirectly. These various systems in line to ISO 9001-2008 used to work on varying management structures, causing inconvenience to interface with each other. But now all these issues shall be dealt with as framed in a common template. And next, asset being a high-level management system structure has produced a common platform so as all systems that organization adopts can be drawn based on NXSL designs or format. Contracting general RC buildings construction can be easily defined within NXSL format. Such arrangements provide many commonalities in designing system implementation, monitoring, evaluation, and improvement by trying to eliminate conflicts that existed within ISO 9001-2008 system. Various stages related to contracting general RCC buildings construction can be covered within NXSL template successfully. All management systems shall have single high-level identical core text with common terms and definitions which can be defined within NXSL. High-level structure cannot be changed, but discipline-specific sub-clauses can be both added or changed. As such, additions may be made where required. Related to contracting general RCC buildings construction, NXSL applies to all management system standards, publicly available specifications and technical specifications as well as customized requirements. Revised ISO 9001, 14001 and 45001 shall be all based on NXSL high-level structure where related to, in this case, though not included herein. NXSL template shows below is only for indicative guidance to apprise an engineer how new system adopted by ISO effective September 2015 work to produce organizational prime quality documents which shall govern whole organization quality processes required by business, adding accountability shareable by business and technocrat leaders. Wherever and whatever requirements demand, item can be added as subclause but no deletions can be made. Purpose of this template is just to project quality track demanded by ISO 9001-2015 system, which is the mandate published by ISO and without which applications all existing ISO 9001-2008 registered certificates shall stand invalid in 2018. September 2018. Therefore, this Annex SL adoption is a must for new quality system operating globally. So Annex SL contract in general, ours is a buildings construction. I had explained to you about clause 1, that is scope, and I explained to you about clause 2, normative references. I explained to you about clause 3, that's terms and definitions, and clause 4, text of organization, context of organization, and then it was then clause 5 leadership. Well, leadership it was, and then it was then clause 6 planning. Should I repeat leadership in just fast movement so that we overlap? Better, I think I should repeat that. Leadership. Okay. This is the context of organization. No, I'm not talking context of organization. I'm talking of leadership. Some are going for leadership. We are missing something. Where's leadership? Oh, I made a mistake here. I have to go back. Go back to leadership one. Yes, this is 5. Yes, 5 is leadership. Clause 5. In this template, I am now going to discuss clause 5, leadership, and then continue further. And meanwhile, what time I have reached, I will see that as well. How far I am in time. Okay. It is 1 hour 28 minutes, no problem. So I say clause 5 is leadership. Means includes leadership and commitment, policy, organizational role, responsibilities and authorities. There are 3 points here. Leadership, this is the same as we discussed in that one, leadership versus leadership and commitment, then policy, and 3 is organizational roles, responsibilities and authorities. What should we do in this case? Let me blow up better because I think, okay. Points for considerations. What are points for consideration? Means according to that we discuss in template that it should do. It should do what to know. When I'm cold. Emphasis on leadership. Emphasis on leadership, not just top management, but leadership is responsible and accountable. Number 2, top management has greater accountability and involvement in organizational management system. Integrate requirement of management system into organization's core business process. Ensure that management system allocates necessary resources. Ensure management system achieves business intended outcome. Sorry. Top management responsible to Top management responsible to communicate importance of management system and ensure employees awareness and involvement. What points there? Emphasis on leadership means it's accountable and responsible. Top management is having greater accountability and involvement in organizational management. Integration required for management system into organization. Management system into organization and core business. And management system allocates necessary resources. Management system achieves business intended outcome. And top management responsible to communicate importance of management system to ensure employees and awareness and involvement. Now, what can be involved? What can be ways of template says? The department. Transition of error. Leaders enjoy trust of top management. Leaders enjoy trust of top management and organization. Then they should enjoy this trust. Means you should trust leaders in that case. And ISO 9001-2015 has extended greater responsibility and accountability to leaders. Means this 2015 leaders have been given responsibility and accountability, who have in fact been virtually elevated to share quality system in all respects, since leaders cannot locate themselves to footboard of senior managers only, leaving entire responsibility to quality agent or quality representative of organization. Means exclusively now quality representative is not responsible. Leaders have to share accountability and responsibility. In fact, quality representative term has been eliminated from purview of quality system ISO 9001-2015. Now, leaders are virtually designated owners. Leaders are virtually designated owners to effectively manage quality system in all organizations, which means that every senior manager or system designated leader has to work in collaboration with all middle and lower management personnel for accountability towards quality system performance. This means leaders must apply additional efforts by stretching working hours if processes are not carried out during formal normal working hours. Quality divisions shall be required for defined purpose as all other divisions only, and they shall carry out respective work allocations in routine briefing, apprising leaders of whatever achievement of work status. Quality divisions shall be required for defined purpose as all other divisions only, and they shall carry out respective work allocations in routine briefing, apprising leaders of whatever achievement or work status. This means that status and responsibilities described on leaders and quality personnel have drastically been altered under ISO 9001-2015, to an extent that leaders cannot escape lead accountability when some account or non-compliance is reported. All division partners are headed. All division partners are heads and leaders to their respective sections, such as designs, estimation, planning, purchasing, safety quality, site controls, engineering, services contract, valuation and approvals, etc. Policy devised by top management and leaders is that site work should be done right first time every time, avoiding reworks to a maximum extent possible. Site work should be allotted to right competent person only, and if right person is not available for certain specific jobs, either training should be given to personnel involved on work should be outsourced officially in form of subcontract. Work should be affected, error or defect free in scheduled time with required degree of competency and acceptable compliance. Work should be affected, error free or defect free in scheduled time with required degree of competency and acceptable compliance. Required attempt has to be made to do all works error free or defect free to maximum extent feasible. Organization has devised various levels of positions such as top management, middle level, seniors and detailed managing levels. Top management contributors are leaders in themselves to direct self and guide all others located on site and off sites. They require to provide vision to site organization. They require to keep all personnel all times motivated so that continuity of personnel and good practice work is maintained on site with a smooth motion of operations to achieve all milestones. Leaders need ensure that policy of organization is always effective and consistently its objectives are achieved in all cases. They need not involve directly with details but involve with by surveillance of all works of execution, prosecution and wherever and whenever they should extend support to required personnel as and when lack on progress is visible. They need make sure that human and other resources required to meet site working operations are available all times as and when necessary, either directly or through subcontractors as case may be. They need make sure that contractor mobilized all resources requirements in line to contract and project schedule. They need ensure that all contractors personnel at all levels know about respective job activities which must be produced in descriptive writing and be updated from time to time depending on whenever projects are due to added responsibility. Leaders have to in all cases all time ensure that device management system is well monitored, reviewed evaluated and necessary improvement is inducted as and when required. They need to ensure that all necessary information regarding system management is communicated to all personnel as and when necessary. Such communication making is essential. Leaders need ensure that all clients or respective owners are well aware that organization has been complying with NEVA requirement and duly updated so that it be easier to participate in NEVA bids to manage building works. Construction management requires to conduct schedules audit on contract progress to an extent contractor site organization is concerned. Construction management ensure that monthly or scheduled payment is raised in form of valuation statement by contractor in process when due and after its evaluation and scrutiny by engineer approved payment certificates are received from owner engineer. Construction management makes sure to submit all reports to leaders in its corporate or head office wherever due so that real achievement and status of contract remains known to them and information circulated to designated key personnel. All such significant project status reporting requires to be moved further towards all stakeholders included on project charter. Now we come to planning, this clause 6. It's on cold, no problem. Planning, what is required for your standard as actions to address risks and opportunities. Then management system objectives and planning to achieve these objectives. Now, what points you have to consider according to this performer? Points for considerations are being risk-based thinking to front. Bring it to front. Risk-based thinking. I actually being risk. Bring by mistake. Bring risk-based thinking to front. Actually, there was an error in my work. Okay. Bring risk-based thinking to front. Once organization pinpoints risk and opportunity, wait a minute, once some error is spelling here. Once organization pinpoints risks and opportunities, it has to work out how to resolve, address through planning. What, who, how and when these risks be addressed. Approach replaces preventive actions. This approach replaces preventive action because you are foreseeing risk. This approach replaces preventive actions or preventative actions, what we call it. Reduces risk for corrective actions later. Objective of management system should be measurable, communicated, aligned to management system policy and updated as a when as and when required. Objectives of management system should be measurable, communicated, aligned to management system policy, and updated as and when required. Now we'll take the explanations of this now. Now which is for my case, for this case, contracting general RCCB buildings. Now aside, planning work in fact starts with when project charter is open for certain bid. Organization starts thinking on project requirement, project aspects and all risks involved and all other restraints that may come in way of project from whatever source. Organization has a basic right whether to go or not to go, whether to go or not to go for certain project depending on its financial credit limit or other available current business, which may not allow additional business for a specific period of few months or years, depending on organization funding potential. Sorry. Once organization decides on its charter to go for project, formal planning commences immediately with naming project manager or leader so that so that key lead personnel would share all ins and outs of that project. Charter writes all details relevant to project, its funding sources and all stakeholders involved. All risks should have been considered in all respects prior to agreeing on charter for doing project irrespective of whether or not it is one. What points can what points can what points can be considered risks and construction management contracting not easy to locate to list out this one go. ISO 9001-2015 requires to think in terms of risk management virtually, and every risk and restraint should be ISO 9001-2015 requires to think in terms of risk management virtually and not just risk prevention. Better let me stand a little stretched. I want to stretch something, my legs. So I better stand a little for a few minutes. I see how to work on this. Okay. I'll see how it works. Better for 5 minutes I stand. So it says every risk Every risk and restraint should be studied in detail to sort out relevant adverse imposing factors and to work out to eliminate those factors or to overcome them. Means work out to eliminate those factors that we just discovered. According to risk, every risk and restraint should be studied in details to sort out relevant adverse imposing factors and to work out to eliminate those factors or to overcome them prior to risk starts entering into project life. Now, leaders must be virtue of then their valuables. Leaders must be Leaders must, by virtue of their valuable experience, post academic qualification, understand what risk would be encountered on such project and what are possible resolutions to remove these risks prior to this position in onto project progress or expose jeopardized status to project. These risks must be combated, must be suppressed before these come out. Risks can occur on various profiles which can be forecast, analyzed and understood easily by experienced and pragmatic professionals. And once such risks are evaluated, an alternative solution or risk solution based on its elimination can be charted out so that no obstacle comes on to project progress. Business process based risks are considered and resolved by top leaders, while site based risks are dealt with site representatives depending on each risk item evolving in during works or prior to works commences with. Examples for certain risks could be as mentioned hereafter. Let us say sites not clearly located due to coordinates not explicitly defined, which requires immediate resolution by coordinating with relevant authorities to locate, design or plant coordinates. Design and plant coordinates, just for information, a term. Design coordinate is original while plant coordinates are relative. Design coordinates are those which are considered by design on actual site, whereas plant coordination are reproduced to replace them from purpose of security point of view or guarding point of view, so that secret doesn't go out. That is only meaning. This is generally used on major plants which are facilities plant or process plants, you can say. Then site is located, but some issues do exist for giving its clearance so that it will not be handed over to contractors successfully in time, either in part or in full, which requires attention by engineer and contractor to operate relevant contract clause, to coordinate with statutory or other bodies for a resolution in case it relates to those bodies, whereas risks relates to other factors. Engineer and contractor should work jointly in collaboration how to come out of risk impact. Then site is running underneath with many live services or working services which require detailed investigation and later either relocation or diversion, which detailed survey must be done either by contractor self or by certain competent agency or otherwise. Appease situation from record drawings. A price situation from record drawings. A price situation from record drawings obtaining from statutory bodies, which assistance should be extended by engineer, and thereafter application should be made to relevant involved authority to either remove that service if no more required to serve vicinity, or to divert that service depending upon what authority decides. But whatever decision requires to be taken should be taken without any further loss of time. Information required from client is not available in time, which can contribute waste potential work hours, to avoid which time wastage due to contractors should in writing and by conducting meetings in person should obtain required missing information or clarification. Site surveys are not conducted in time due to non-availability of site exploration agency vendor, which must be conducted by appointing surveying agency duly approved by engineer, so that a professional reporting related to geographical and geotechnical be made for review and approval by engineer. Site soil exploration is not carried out in time per schedule due to non-availability of site exploration agent vendor, which should be expedited if contract constitutes this requirement, so that its adverse impact to delay foundations and thereby works on substructure. Architect delays issue of required drawings, to avoid which delays close coordination between architect and engineer be conducted by efforts of contractor if possible, in addition to formally writing to engineer and architect. Subcontractors' proposals are not submitted by contractor in scheduled time, which must be submitted in time in case relevant vendors have been finalized by contractor, or else all works shall delay automatically. Curriculum vitae related to key personnel are not proposed by contractor for approval per schedule, which must be presented by submission to engineer at beginning of contract if feasible, or else should be submitted at an earliest opportunity, so that engineer may conduct respective interviews of key personnel to ensure their fitness for deployment on project job. Construction services engineers delay issues related to allied drawings, which must be corrected by adopting foregoing paragraph mentioned resolutions, so that after approvals of subcontractors, all impending submissions could be made expeditiously. Construction work contract payment are not released in scheduled time from client, which must be followed up once valuation statement is made and approved by engineer. Since approved payments certificate may assist contractor to source bank for further release of funds for project activities. 25 then, material submissions are delayed by contractor, which is not a pleasing state, yet it happens because contractor's purchase section keeps trying various vendors for equivalent specifications and discounted delivery price. But such delays should be avoided so that accumulative delays whole project be prevented. Shop and working drawings submissions are delayed by contractor, which too is a normal state on projects, but should be prevented by personal involvement by leader of project. Contractor delays on submission of method statements required to be approved by supervising management team, but this is not acceptable since the statements can be prepared in time should qualified and experienced professional are available on project staffing strength. Site safety operations are not conducted adequately, which adequate care must be taken by safety division complying with safety plan and OSHA released rules and regulations. Occupational Safety Health Association, OSHA. All foregoing risks related issues can be checked by intensive engineering coordination from very inception of award of contract to practical or mechanical completion of contract. Every leader responsible for task should follow progress by all interactive persons, all times, and status updated and communicated to all responsible key personnel. Issues should be raised in internal as well as in external meetings with all others whosoever involved. All minutes of meetings should be recorded and communicated to whosoever involved personally, formally, later on giving reminders and further follow-up of related activity update. In fact, an excellently performing coordinating engineer or manager shall be required to be appointed by both contractor and supervising agency so that regular review of contract requirements and follow-up for resolutions may be made whenever it be necessary. It has been observed that deliveries related to bulk materials which are imported from overseas cause delays due to various factors such as delay on appointment of vendors due to rates and supply related terms and conditions, letter of credits opening, delay on material approvals, delays on custom, etc., which points must be taken care of in due time. There are many more, but I am just giving a little for reference and information how this you can say planning can help us on this NXSL high level structure. This was for planning I discussed with you, which is very important part of project, because planning means a direction is given by professional how to move further, but it must be clearly understood that everybody on project is also a planner. Sometimes the day-to-day planning you have to do which is not given on. Sometimes you have to change planning, or sometimes you have to do something fast, or you have to cover so much lost time. It varies, but principal foundational points are same, they remain same, they cannot change. You have to apply contract conditions to realize, you have to operate them, you cannot avoid them. You have to control project, you have to save time, you have to control budget, you have to control quality. All these are very much essential in all sections of project. Maybe it is design, maybe it is planning, maybe it is quality, whatever may be, everybody has to provide input. That is where it's required, is needed. Then it is support, class 7, support. Support, and now I have crossed 2 hours, I think. No problem. Support. Class 7 is support. And what does it say? It requires resources. It requires competence. It requires awareness. It requires communication. It requires documented information. It requires these points: resources, competence, awareness, communication, documented information. Now we will further move on these points. Material, equipment and human resources. These are all resources. Material, equipment and human resources. Then capacity, potential of organization and individual. Capacity, potential of organization and individual means capacity build up, power of organization. Then qualification of personnel, awareness among all pertinent system and its functioning, written job description, work procedures, safety procedures, quality control procedures, administration methods, etc., etc. Documented information is different than documentation. We'll talk of that. Whenever information about management and procedures are processed in whatever form, such as written text, maps, charts, designs, successful implementation, evidence of compliance of requirements, etc. No system of documents but evidentiary available documents for reference and future use. Documented information. Now explain to you all this. Now support for an organization. Support for an organization means many types of project activities. Support for an organization means many types of project activities conducted both from its corporate or head office as well as from site office and also from its other infrastructural facilities. such as maintenance yard, which be a centralized location to serve all buildings and other projects from its location. Support is classified into human resources, mechanical resources professional, that is, management resources knowledge, dissemination resources communication, procurement management safety management, quality management, infrastructural financing resources, etc. These are also resources. Support is classified into human resources, mechanical resources, professional management resources, knowledge dissemination resources, communication, procurement management, safety management, quality management, infrastructure financing resources, etc. Now, support or resources required by construction organization depend on type and working nature of organizations. In this case, organization is RCC building specialist contractor who would require support resources related to its different ingredients and total requirements. Organization may be a prime general contracting or maybe only a small or medium level contractor who would require support resources accordingly. Degree of competence is very significant for required support resources, which would require depending upon type of support resource. Degree of competence means educational qualification plus professional experience and consistency of experience with updated knowledge. That is with continuous professional development. Degree of competence also means trade qualification plus professional expertise and consistency of experience with continued development of practical knowledge. Degree of competence also means experience and knowledge based on maturity and work advancement to be conducted independently. Degree of competency also means complete understanding of work applications with all kinds of technical and equipment support with decades of field experience. Degree of competence vary from person to person, since professional engineer is supposed to have engineering discipline competency, while a tradesperson would be required to have competency related to trade operations only. A general foreman shall be required to have specialist knowledge related to area of work responsibility, while a foreman associated with general foreman would be required to work on lower areas but with full command on related operations independently. A division leader would be expected to have engineering professional degree with long years of experience with multidisciplinary knowledge for working and application purpose based on interface and intercoordination. A quality division leader would be required to have engineering professional degree with complete backup of code provisions, specifications, working procedures, testing and inspection, in-depth knowledge, so that all ITPs, checklist and method statements can be produced meeting trade and project requirements. An estimation division leader would be required to have a professional engineering degree with many years of estimation and valuation experience with complete backup of item rates, procurement prices, required technicalities of various types of materials, and equipment with high degree of quantity surveying practice and power of negotiations. A complete understanding of construction contracts such as FIDIC or NEC based formats must be known to such leaders, who must have detailed knowledge of contracts and arbitration. A procurement division leader must be thorough in materials engineering for purpose of screening and charting out quotation, analysis and operational research over that. A planning and scheduling division leader must be a professional engineer with thorough knowledge of engineering and prosecution methods with sequence of operations and applications of required time for each operation. Similarly, site leader must have all engineering requirements with decades of experience and skills to check, review and chart out site issues efficiently, due to fact that site leader represents organization on front of project, who therefore must be extended all demanded support from other corporate leaders. It is a major requirement that all leaders must be fully aware about project requirements and about system applications, while in turn must train juniors to keep complete required understanding on an extent job responsibility demands. All leaders and associates must keep an update on system requirement, as well as whatever changes are brought into system management structure from time to time throughout currency of project. If so required, related training to all personnel should be imparted to keep them refreshed, just as training regards safety discipline is imparted regularly. Suggestions should be invited from all personnel without any hesitation, so that what works in minds of personnel be exposed, and if good should be included within system. If it is found good or discovered good or considered good, should be included within system. Every organization is owner of many resources such as heavy equipment, batching plants, concrete pumps, concrete transporting trucks, electrical equipment, middle level equipment, as well as various others. All major size organizations do own many equipment for their projects, drawing benefits on their investments due to the fact that they do not need hire all such machines, while they are free to rent them to other organizations. Organizations owning various heavy equipment are generally considered having better work potentials and favored during bid consistency and comparison stages. All supporting items must be supported by documentary evidences, and formally a list of such supporting resources should be ready and attached with bid strength, you can say, in technical submission. All such supporting resources lists should be updated all times and presented for examination and inspection if so required by owner and engineer to ensure that provided information is authentic and that contractors' assurance that such resources would be available during scheduled construction period. On similar pattern, list of human resources and subcontracting details must be provided and demonstrated if so demanded by engineer for verification. Major equipment that could be presented on list being tower crane, mobile cranes, shovels, excavators, rock breakers, concrete pumps, trucks and dumpers, winches, concrete mixers, etc., etc. These details that I have given, these are general depending upon your organization. These are just guiding lines. You can write your way, what you want to prove, what you want to project your power to, your potential to your client. Depends upon what sort of projects you are doing, what size of projects you are doing. Sometimes you are a very big company, sometimes very small company. It depends, but question is, support is support. Supports must be powerful, must be competent, must be, you can say, available all time when required, and should be ready all time to support your project. It is essential. Now, one more point that I want to elaborate here. I'll give to point 8, 9, 10, just something that is regarding documents is very important. First to be clear with, maybe let me see, I put this here. This is documented information, it was, and let me see if it is there in documented information. I'll open this. It's also very important. Yes. Yes, this is documented information. Let me speak to you about this. Is very important, of course, for information purpose. It says International Organization for Standardization Guidance on Requirements for Documented Information of ISO 9001-2015. Now it is as such, I'm just doing that. Two of most important objectives in revision of ISO 9000 series of standards have been A. To develop a simplified set of standards that shall be equally applicable to small as well as medium and large organizations, and B. For amount and detail of documentation required to be more relevant to desired results of organizations' process activities. So it says, number 1, to develop a simplified set of standards that shall be equally applicable to small as well as medium and large organizations, and B, for amount and details of documentation required to be more relevant to desired results of organization's process activities. ISO 9001-2015 Quality Management System requirements have achieved these objectives, and purpose of this additional guidance is to explain intent of new standard with specific regards to documented information. ISO 9001-2015 allows an organization flexibility in way it chooses to document its quality management system QMS. This enables each individual organization to determine correct amount of documented information needed in order to demonstrate effective planning, operation and control of its processes, and implementation and continual improvement of effectiveness of its QMS. It is stressed that ISO 9001 requires and always has required a documented quality management system and not a system of documents. Documented quality management system is required. And what is documented information? Definition and references. Term documented information was introduced as part of this common high-level structure. High-level structure HLS and common terms for management system standards MSS. Definition of documented information can be found in ISO 9000 clause 3.8. Documented information can be used to communicate a message, provide evidence of what was planned, has actually been done, or knowledge sharing. Following are some of main objectives of an organization's documented information, independent of whether or not it has implemented a formal QMS. Now, communication of information, that's number 1A. As a tool for information transmission and communication, type and extent of documented information shall depend on nature of organization's products and processes, degree of formality of communication systems, and level of communication skills within organization and organizational culture. Now, B is evidence of conformity, provision of evidence that what was planned has actually been done. Knowledge sharing, then to disseminate and preserve organization's experience. A typical example would be a technical specification which can be used as a base for design and development of a new product or service. A list of commonly used terms and definitions relating to documented information is presented in IS 9001-2015 Annex A that we have already, It must be stressed that according to ISO 9001-2015 clause 753, control of documented information requirements, documents may be in any form or whatever form or type of medium, and definition of document in ISO 9000-2015 clause 385 gives following examples. It can be paper, it can be magnetic, it can be electronic or optional computer disk, it can be photograph, it can be master sample or whatever. ISO 9001-2015 documentation requirements. ISO 9001-2015 class 4.4 quality management system and its processes requires an organization to maintain documented information to extent necessary to support operation of processes and retain documented information to extent necessary to have confident that processes are being carried out as planned. Clause 751 general explains that quality management system documentation shall include a. documented information required by this international standard. B. documented information determined by organization as being necessary for effectiveness of quality management system. Note, after this clause, make it clear that extent of QMS documented information can differ from one organization to another due to what? Due to A. size of organization and its types of activities, processes, products and services. B. complexity of processes and their interactions. C. competence of persons. 4. Then all documented information that forms part of QMS has to be controlled in accordance with clause 7.5 documented information. Now, guidance on clause 7.5 of ISO 9001-2015. The following comments are intended to assist users of ISO 9001-2015 in understanding intent of general documented information, requirements of international standards. Documented information can refer to A. documented information needed be maintained by organization for purposes of establishing a QMS high-level transversal documents. These include scope of quality management system, clause 4.3, documented information necessary to support operation of processes, clause 4.4, quality policy, clause 5, quality objectives, clause 6.2. Documented information is subject to requirements of clause 7.5. B. documented information maintained by organization for purpose of communicating information necessary for organization to operate low-level specific documents. Section 4.4. Although IS 9001-2015 does not specifically require any of them, example of documents that can add value to QMS may include organization chart, process maps, process flow charts or process descriptions, procedures, works or test instructions, specifications, documents containing internal communications, production schedules, approved suppliers lists, test and inspection plans, quality manuals, strategic plans, forms and others. Where it exists, all such documented information is also subject to requirements clause 7.5. C. documented information needed to be or required to be retained by organization for purpose of providing evidence of result achieved or records. These include documented information to extent necessary to have confidence that processes are being carried out per planning. 4.4. Clause 4.4. Evidence of fitness for purpose of monitoring and measuring resources. Clause 7151. Evidence of basis used for calibration of monitoring and measurement resources when no international or national standards exist. Clause 7152. Evidence of competence of persons doing work under control of organization that affects performance and effectiveness of QMS. Clause 72. Results of review and new requirements for products and services. Clause 823. Records needed demonstrate that design and development requirements have been met clause 832. Records on design and development inputs, clause 833. Records of activities of design and development controls, clause 834. Records of design and development outputs, clause 835. Design and development changes including results of review and authorization of changes and necessary actions, clause 836. Records of evaluation, selection, monitoring of performances and re-evaluation of external providers and whatever and actions arising from these activities, clause 841. Evidence of unique identification of outputs when traceability is a requirement, 852. Records of property of customer or external provider that is lost, damaged or otherwise found to be unsuitable for use and of its communication to owner, clause 853. Results of review of changes for production or service provision, persons authorizing change and necessary actions taken, clause 856. Records of authorized release of products and services for delivery to customer, including acceptance criteria and traceability to authorizing persons, clause 86. Records of non-conformities, actions taken, concessions obtained and identification of authority deciding actions in respect of non-conformity, clause 87. Results of evaluation of performance and effectiveness of QMS, clause 911. Evidence of implementation of audit program and audit results, clause 922. Evidence of results of management reviews, clause 933. Evidence of nature of non-conformities and any subsequent actions taken, clause 1022. Results of any corrective actions, clause 1022. Organizations are free to develop other records that may be required to demonstrate conformity of their processes, products and services and quality management system. Where they exist, all such records are also subject to requirements, clause 75. Now, organizations preparing to implement QMS, it's just a direction here. For organizations that are in process of implementing QMS and wish to meet requirements of IS 9001-2015, following comments may be useful. So this is something else. Organization wishing to adopt an existing framework, this is this transmission process. I'm not going into that detail. Now I'll come back to, this was just for information about those two items. One was documented information and one was, this was documented information. I just provided this to you to know about that. Now I'm going back to my paper, and that is clause 8. I have talked up to clause 7. Now I'm going to talk about this, clause 8. Operation includes operational planning and control. Points for considerations are in-house processes. Number 2, outsourced processes. And number 3 is overall process management includes adequate criteria to control these processes, manage planned and unintended changes. So details are bids. Now I'm talking, these are operations. Buildings require many operations which start from corporate or support office of contractor. Prior to bidding work is started, bidder needs one fully established office that can meet project requirements. This office should have all departments established at one location to avoid unnecessary movement of personnel from one office to other office. Bid starts with board section to estimation division, which submits its bid report back to board, who then decides upon design charter, designated charter whether or not to go with bid in issue. Once bid is to go decision is made, estimation division comes into its full-fledged working on bid by appointment of board a project manager in whose control bid shall be worked out with coordination among all personnel belonging to estimation division. An estimation coordinator would be appointed for particular bid, who with support of quantity surveyors or engineers and other would invite all quotations from various prospective vendor and subcontractor. Coordinator would check out all bid documents to attach with all invitation letters one by one and try dispatch all to each vendor, which process takes lot of hard work and time. Coordinator gives a date to all vendors for tender or bid closing and date on or before which quotations should be obtained. Thereafter, all details received from various vendors are entered into item-wise list, Excel sheet or whatsoever if used for purpose of making rates and conditions comparison. Coordinator is authorized to call those vendors whom it is expected that would support competitive bidding, for which meeting is appointed and conducted for purpose of negotiations or assurance for pre-bid agreement if so needed, keeping abreast value of time. Particularly for package subcontractor requirement related to electromechanical and plumbing etc., such meetings are conducted to draw a better and reliable support for winning better bids. Once all items are prepared, work of computing bid items and related prices start and talks are made to those vendors who fail to send quotations, and requests are made to submit if vendors are of course interested. All items received in quotations and relevant specifications are compared to make sure that vendors comply with bid requirements, and if certain discrepancy noticed, clarification sought from vendors. Once all items are ready for pricing purpose, estimator designated for bid enters all prices into software and then all other indirects are fixed in. After completing all data entry of directs and indirects, provisional bid price is reached for management consideration and review. Other and work on format of bid continues by fulfilling all bid requirements including execution statement, so that full bill packet be ready for submission. Meanwhile, if certain clarification is required from engineer or owners, queries are sent to engineer in approved format and information sought or whatever queries related to bid documents are made. Planning division is given task to prepare level 1 schedule for purpose to include with bid, works out all histograms and related submission documents for scheduling. Various meetings are conducted among bid working personnel under chair of estimation manager, and final prices are fixed. All required documentations are prepared and enclosed with bid forms. All materials proposed on permanent inclusions are enlisted for review by engineer. All vendors are enlisted and enclosed for similar purpose as materials do. Final prices are reviewed by project manager and then at end by board, and confidential price is given to estimation manager, who incorporates all such prices and close bid for purpose to submit to engineer. After all foregoing processes for bid preparation, bid is submitted to defined location by bidder prior to appointed final hour, or if required to be submitted online would be done. Bid negotiations. Bids opened by engineer on date appointed and list of bidders prepared. It's not necessary that bid be awarded to bidder who quoted minimum price, but this is part of practice only. Engineer examines and scrutinizes all bid received. Then a list is prepared by engineer to invite bidders under negotiation considerations one by one. Minimum quote bidder is prioritized for negotiations. Along with prime or main bid, alternative bid are also examined simultaneously. Notes are made for all bids regarding bid in order of submission or if certain deficiency exists. Whatever deficiency exists, bidder is asked to clear it or clarify it in a defined time for further considerations. After making complete review and scrutiny of bids, bidders are called for further negotiations, which leads to award of bid to one best bidder. Later, engineer makes a report for bid award for honors considerations, and final decision is taken by honor on engineer's recommendations. Contract award. Having considered engineer's recommendations, honor approves award of contract and worked out some, duly instructing engineer to issue letter of appointment to contractor. Engineer as such issues an appointment letter or award letter with approved lump sum for carrying out complete scope within contract. Name of resident engineer is also included within this letter so that contractor would practically deal with resident engineer. Shall work on behalf of engineer with all delegated powers as mentioned on appointment or award letter. A time of 7 days is allowed to contractor to commence with contract work. Later, complete contract is executed within a given time limit, whereas contract is required to produce a performance bond of defined sum from a designated bank. Contractor is also directed to make all submissions as required by contract conditions, copies of which are already or either available with contractor as bid documents or could be provided to contractor for reference. Now it's contractor's responsibility to commence with mobilization in line to execution statement included within bid documents. Day on which appointment letter is issued may be considered contract commencement day, or some other date appointed on letter itself could be referred to as contract commencement day to name it a practical contract baseline. Site mobilization to commence contract scope. No contractor is interested to waste any time to successfully complete contract. If contractor is serious, which organization should be? Planning and scheduling division of contractors should be well prepared in advance to direct site manager to chart out attack on all possible activities. Project manager should fix a kick-start meeting, a kick-off meeting with an engineer or resident engineer if so appointed by engineer. Contractor formally meets the resident engineer or engineer to confer on starting project. Contractor submits third-party insurance documents and also performance bond of value defined. Contractor also submits proposed site office and related infrastructure to support doing permanent works. Resident engineer then examines table proposals and approves it with certain modification if so required. All relevant issued pertinent contract conditions relevant to at this stage are discussed in details and instructions are passed to contractor. Standard forms, if whatever used by engineer for purpose of formal submissions, are also handed over to contractor as mailed or feasible whatever way. Next site meeting shall be conducted at site office. If site office will be ready by that time, then contractor has to move to work on site mobilization within defined contract period and commission of all such site office to be used by resident engineer and staff as well as by contractor agent and staff. All temporary services are provided in all offices, including sanitary, water and office establishment requirements. Once mobilization is completed, permanent works can be started. Contract related permanent works are disciplines. All disciplines. RCC building works involve many activities that will be shown on level 1 schedule of planning. From site takeover to site handover, all activities related to all disciplines are included with prime, star or complete time limits. These activities are further elaborated on other level schedules so as to control all works within defined time limits. Here project management plays a very significant part to be conducted by project manager by support of planning engineers or scheduling engineers. All works are carried out by site managers, engineers based on this schedule, and day after another progress is achieved and monitored. All works should be carried out meeting contractual requirements without any carelessness. All related staff must be trained for all activities that must be carried out per defined methods and complying with required management of specifications in all respects. Weekly reports are presented by planning engineer to evaluate real progress and value in comparison to planned schedule. In case there is noticed delay on site progress achievements, methods are adopted to check delays by extending work hours and also by importing additional resources from other sources. Whatever works are produced during 1 month are measured by planning engineer or valuation engineer, and payment due statement is worked out for submission to resident engineer or engineer. In case approved material which are non-perishable are procured during valuation period, that part value as agreed with engineer or resident engineer, say 75% or 70%, could be added to works towards carried out sum. Contractual required deduction in line to condition within contract are deducted from each valuation, and final running sum reached and agreed between resident engineer and engineer. This valuation is approved by owner on recommendation by engineer for making payment to contractor. Engineer issues a payment certificate to contractor for its legal banking purpose whatsoever. During contract execution and prosecution, all divisions and all disciplines play respective roles, from leadership offices as well as from key personnel posted on site. It's very significant to keep all historical records of contract activities during currency of project execution so that tracing of each record may not cause any problem. It should be remembered that they may be working friendship between staff of resident engineer and contractor on personal levels, yet both are different and contractor is binding on both owner and director and contractor. Engineer and resident engineer are not any part on construction contract. Whatever personal level coordination be made should be limited to work activities and not be shared by contractual complexities. No personal assurances on contract matters are acceptable to certain extent. Commercial issues are concerned, which all must be covered for protection in writing only. Through such writings may be in polite and soft script of language, It's not any practice in construction industry to deploy legal personnel, say barristers or advocates, to look after contract matters on sites. All contract matters are looked after for treatment by engineers on site and probably by head engineer, project manager, who must have deep knowledge about contract conditions and future impacts that contract can receive if issues are not properly cared for at site level during currency of contract. During dispute resolution mechanism, all records support whatever claims are raised by contractor against owner. If contractual activity records are not properly maintained or managed and recorded by site team, it shall be equivalent to impossible to work on claim raising exercise, and possibly claim sums would be lost forever. Otherwise, there could be 3 years limitation period to move dispute resolution mechanism even after project has been handed over to owner. Therefore, senior engineers and project manager must be very smart in recording serious activities that could lead to possible disputes in future. Sections on site working for contract period. This is 25:30. Okay. Sections on site working for contract period. Personnel belonging to all sections are available on site for purpose to support site manager to prosecute all activities. Engineering team has to work out all design details and reviews available details for purpose to obtain clarifications of engineering decisions for either missing items or clashing items. Contract section team requires to keep a watch on all instruction coming in from engineer or resident engineer to ascertain whether or not it constitutes contract variation. Quantity survey team has to provide required quantities for each and every item to be used on project. Land survey team section has to set out all details, points and marking that are necessary to carry out relative civil activity. Procurement material team coordinator has to place in requisition for ordering required materials. Planning and scheduling team has to work out relative schedules for weekly, monthly and quarterly requirements. Civil work team has to carry out all activities related to civil building items. Mechanical engineering team required to work for all HVAC, plumbing and sanitary activities throughout. Electrical engineering team is required to carry out working during inter-activities while whatever activities on whatever items be moving. Quality engineering team is required to interact for inspection, checking out and verification of whatever works are carried out on site. Document control section team requires to keep complete records of all project documents, documented information whatsoever in a proper manner, making it convenient traceability as and when some documented information is required. On top of all foregoing sections, project manager is responsible and accountable, being a leader on project, and therefore requires to direct all personnel related to all sections and coordinate with corporate or head office. This is about clause 8 we discussed with. Important one, not so easy. It takes time to work upon this thoroughly, and in fact very responsible job that everyone has to do. And I should say, what is happening is not what should happen. It's not what we should do. Something else is happening. What I have seen that profession is missing, completely missing. Just haphazard activities have been ongoing. World is changing, but we are not changing. I don't understand reason. This, what I explained, is only a part. This document is still not complete. I will go through this next time because it's already late, more than 3 hours. But status remains as it is. I don't understand profession now. Profession of engineering, I don't understand whether it's professional or it's not profession. This is not clear to me. Those who call themselves professionals, are they really professionals? Or they are just doing service and going home and that's all? That we have to be serious about. Many of our brothers engineers are working abroad, working in Gulf, working in Middle East, working overseas, everywhere. I don't know why we do there, why we are forced to do there, or because we have to survive there and here we are by automation we are surviving. There's a difference. Standard of works, quality, safety, management, and you say totality of working which I experienced overseas, I am not finding here. I don't know reason behind that. Seriousness does not exist at all. I am not blaming workers. I have no right to blame them. My blame goes to professionals because they are leaders in their field, and if they do not understand, they do not try to improve, then who can improve? And problem is that we are social changer. We change society. This is our job, this is our role, but we are changing our own style, not society. Society is deteriorating every day, every hour. People are bad and on which other factors do apply and they are spoiling them. But we are all watching and watching. That is our character. We cannot help it. So what can I do? I can only suggest. I have seen works here, and believe me, if I meet those people, I will slap on their faces. This is their treatment. They deserve that treatment. They just pass blames to others, to those people who are not professionals, to those people who are not relevant. They pass their blames to them and say system is this and system is that. I don't understand what system is there. Is there some system or there is no system? We all know. But we have to tolerate everything because we have to survive. In that case, better don't study engineering, don't go to university and tear out your certificates if you cannot control. You are spoiling natural resources, you are spoiling everything. Now what's function of your engineers? I don't understand. I can only say tear all certificates, do some other job and live. That's all. Don't say that you are engineers. Don't curse yourself. That's all I can say. Thank you very much for kind response.